Hey everybody, welcome to the Gootz Cast for Monday, the 27th of April, 2020. We are still in quarantine, we are still in lockdown, and I am here today with Andrew Lee. Andrew, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. What's going on, everybody?
How was your weekend quarantinings?
It was good. We had an amazing comedy show
Oh,
on
best comedy
Saturday.
show of our lives.
Millions of people watched. It was fantastic. I was the best out of everybody. I heard the laughs, so a great weekend. How about
You
you?
know, you don't realize you're wasting your life during this quarantine, so you actually try to do something, and you're like, oh, wow, okay, well, I guess that was a waste. You try to do something with your life, and that's why it's like I just watch TV while this is going on. Hey, so let's get down to it. Tonight was Raw. Let's start.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour show, so we got to get to it. Raw. I don't believe this was live. I didn't see a live wording, so that's probably the recorded one we had.
Okay, but here's the weird thing before spoiler. So USA, during 205 Live, they announced that they're going to continue the Triple H celebration. USA promoted that Triple H is going to be on the show. And then there was no Triple H. I mean, there was a countdown of Triple H's greatest moments, which I felt was a countdown to him showing up, and he wasn't on the show. So what is the point of you in acknowledging Triple H's anniversary if you're not going to have him fucking walk out?
Let me ask you a question. When did they say today that he was gonna be?
Yes, USA tweeted out that he was going to make his return.
They did that today.
Yeah. And then remember on 205 Live, they advertised that the
celebration. Yeah, they did. They did advertise it on 205 Live. I think originally they were going to do that, and I think they got such.
Well, the ratings went to.
Ratings was bad, and reviews were really bad, and I think because of that, they decided against.
But then don't have those stupid fucking bumpers, because it kind of made everyone think that Triple H is going to come out at the end. So you're like, okay, you're preparing for Triple H, and then he doesn't come out, and it kind of makes the last segment, because you're like, aren't they supposed to do another segment with Triple H? And then he never came out. So
yes, but that seems to be WWE's MO, where they'll advertise something, and then
there's no excuses because it's everyone's in a building, so you can't be like, oh, Triple H decided to come.
They do it all the time. Remember WrestleMania? They were like, they knew Roman Reigns wasn't gonna be there, but they just kept going until like the very, very last moment. That's just their MO.
That was very weird. Also, I do love the fact that the greatest thing, this guy, 25 years this guy's wrestled, and his number one moment is him breaking his fucking quad. I thought, and of course,
it wasn't breaking his quad. It was when he came back.
Did they show it?
Yeah, they did. Which is what actually we talked about last Friday. We were like, that should have been one of the moments they should have shown when he returned, which was what it was on that 8 months later. But let's get into this Raw. You got Phillips, Byron, and replacing Jerry the King Lawler, we got Samoa Joe back on commentary.
That was nice.
It was very nice. It was very nice to see that. It starts off with the MVP's VIP lounge in the ring. He invites Rey Mysterio, Aleister Black, and Apollo Crews, the Raw participants for Money in the Bank, into the ring and doesn't let anybody speak. He gets interrupted by Selena Vega's group, leads it, and it turns into a 3-on-3 match. Standard match. It was very long. Went through 2 commercial breaks.
It was almost the whole first hour of Raw.
I would say it was about like 30 minutes, like a 30-minute Raw.
Yeah.
A 30-minute match.
I counted. 8:40 was when the match ended.
Okay. But it didn't start right away because they had that whole.
Yeah, but I count almost that VIP lounge as part of it. It's all the same segment.
Yeah,
I thought it was a good match.
It was. You know what it was? It wasn't a bad match, but it was like just standard match for those guys. The person who looked the best, in my opinion, who came off looking the best, was Angel Garza.
Okay.
I always feel like he sticks out.
I'll just tell you, if this was the only thing they did with these characters, was this segment, it would have been a really solid Raw. But then later on, they do something which I thought was a colossal fucking blunder. And
yes,
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that.
But this was fine as it is, and then they had to fucking ruin it.
This was, in my opinion, not a bad way to start Raw.
Mm-hmm.
The match was long, but it's during the quarantine time. They got to eat up the time. I totally get it. It wasn't a bad match or anything. Apollo Crews wins with a powerbomb on Andrade, and Crews got a lot of offense in this match, and I like how, because there's no audience, like you can't tell whether or not he would get a reaction or not. So they're just pushing him, which is good.
Well, now they're pushing him.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Well, okay, if you just go based on this match,
It did based on this match. Yeah, it was good. It was, but like they are really
the U.S. champion. You know.
Yeah, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
So keep going.
Leads into the first two Triple H best top 10 moments, 10 and 9. One was like him like almost butt fucking Trish Stratus, I believe, right? That was one of the.
That was one of them. The other one was Sting. Which is bullshit. That's one of my least favorite matches of all time. I cannot believe they wasted one of Sting's only matches on that fucking scrub Triple H. And then they made it sound like it was the Monday Night Wars. Can I say something? If in 1998, if you had Sting and Triple H fight at the height of all this, it would have been a squash. Nobody would have gave a shit.
Yeah, this was
it was just such an abomination to put Sting through that. Then to be like, it's his 9th greatest moment. Fuck you.
Yeah, and it was what do you call it?
That match ruined that WrestleMania for me. It's so fucking bad.
I actually didn't watch that match, and I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch Triple H put himself over on Sting. I don't want to.
It was just horrendous. It was horrendous.
I don't. Yeah, I have no desire to watch that. What do you call it? I think actually we doesn't matter. I guess what the order is, but they actually did like where he forms a DX Army was I think number 10 and.
That was a good moment. 9. That should have been like number 1 because that was when I actually started caring about him. I didn't even give a shit about him until he got X-Pac and Road Dogg. And
and yeah, when he got the Outlaws in there, yeah. But that was like
it's just the order was it's still that WCW thing was number 2 that nobody gives a shit about. But oh man, Triple H like.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, it's just like all the moments were like moments that nobody fucking gives a rat's ass about. Yeah. It was just always like it's always either in support of someone else. Like there was never like, did they even have Undertaker's match with him at WrestleMania?
No, they had. So actually,
that's legit one of his best moments.
Yeah. So basically, they had 10 best of moments scattered throughout the show,
and one of them was when they did the NXT invasion of SmackDown.
Yeah, the moments were scattered from him, like either like forming a things with DX where they did the whole fucking invasion with a tank thing, forming the DX, and
forming Evolution.
Where when he brought NXT over, like you said, but they did have like a few of them where it was just about him or like his crowning moments, like when him winning King of the Ring in '97 was one.
That was a good moment for him.
Yeah, him beating what do you call it? The Rock on the first SmackDown.
You know what I think is one of his best moments is when he beat Austin at No Way Out 2001 for that character. Because for the character's arc, it was like I've proven now I'm better than Austin.
Yeah,
I beat him. They didn't have that.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
Instead,
it's just like they don't even know how to fucking. They sucked this guy's dick for 25 years. And they don't even know how to properly highlight him.
No, what's this one highlight when he's dressed up like Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I know. It's like
Shawn Michaels was Shane. That was one.
I remember that night. People were like, I was watching the Carolines because it wasn't called Monday Night Gootz yet, but we were watching it by a bunch of comedians. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. They were all like, this is like the Nation Domination thing, but worse.
Mm-hmm. So. I did not find that funny at all. By the way, when he dressed up like Vince McMahon and HBK was like a lazy-eyed.
You know what was a good DX moment? I thought the new DX, not the old. Now Eagle is giving his opinion. You know what was a good DX moment with? Why is this guy still? I'm sorry. You know what was a good DX moment?
It is
the post DX. Like when I talk about the 2006 version. I think the stuff they did with like Rated RKO was good.
Do you mean like the McMahon-Helmsley era DX?
No, the DX era, the 2006 version where him and Shawn Michaels reunited.
Really? You like that?
I mean, I'm thinking about good moments of that part of DX. Because that DX is kind of lame.
Yeah.
Because all they did was fight.
Where they try to sell glow sticks? You mean that one?
No, that's 2009. Or you know what? Their match with Cody Rhodes was good. But I guess you can't highlight him. All right, let's continue.
Anyway, no more Triple H. Yeah,
no more Triple H. Don't even bring up those segments the rest of the show.
Yeah. Basically, I had him. So we had Andrade backstage segment where he's upset because he got pinned, and right after he leaves talking to Charlie, Apollo Crews comes in. He's like, "Oh, did you see that?" and everything. He's all smiling. Andrade hears this, comes back, he's like, "Hey, what are you talking about me?" By the way, I like when they do this because this is like the realistic part.
No, it's good, but I'll tell you why this is bad. Finish telling you what happens. I'll tell you why this is bad.
Well, I'll tell you why I like it. You know how we've talked about like when you leave, like how you never ran into the other guy when he's coming back, and when the other guy's coming into the ring, like what? You guys just go separate ways and you don't run into each other. This is perfect. One guy is talking to an interview, and as he's walking away and the other guy's talking, he overhears them because they're only a couple of feet away from each other. So the guy comes back, he's like, "What did you say?" Basically, Andrade starts going like, "You'll never be the champion," to Apollo. Apollo slaps him like a huge bitch slap, and then Andrade basically goes, "Yeah, you can challenge me for the U.S. title later tonight." So I like this segment. What didn't you like about it?
Okay, so for a babyface heel aspect, the babyface is taunting. The babyface is being acting like a little bitch that he won, and then the babyface smacks him. Now, for the babyface, the good guy to do all that, the good guy has to back it up and win. If the good guy doesn't back it up and win and go, he's not really the good guy. And Andrade in this segment looked more like someone who's like heroic than Apollo Crews, which doesn't make any sense. Andrade should have been like, "Oh, I can't wrestle you today. I already had a match." And Apollo Crews should have been like, "Oh, I get it. You're fucking chicken." And then finally, like, Zelina should say, "We take the match." But instead, Andrade's like, "Okay, yeah, you beat me once, but you won't beat me again. I'll see you later." You know?
Yeah, I think if you look at this segment just based on this segment, not thinking about what will happen later on tonight, then it's not.
But you
that
can't
bad.
because it's all part of the same show. Now, if Apollo said, "I'll see you next week," and then they did what they did next week, that's one thing. But
they should have done this next week.
They said, "I'll see you now. I'll see you later on tonight." They should have Triple H come out and jerk off again instead of this stupid.
This was. It
makes so already you're setting up Apollo, and you're setting up Apollo like a fucking goofball. I'll say this: they don't know how to book black people. They really don't. They really don't know how to book.
I don't think they do either. They don't. I don't think they know how to book Asian people either. They don't know how to book.
Wait, did you see?
They don't know how to book Hispanics either. They don't know how to book Hispanics.
I think they're a little bit better Hispanics than blacks and Asians.
Yeah. You could ask.
They did a better job at Eddie and Ray and a couple other ones. Wait, I don't know if you ever saw this.
One or two doesn't mean anything. They know how to book The Rock.
Well, The Rock's not really.
We had Yokozuna. One or two doesn't count.
Yokozuna was pretending to be. Yokozuna wasn't really Asian. Anyway,
we'll take him.
Dude, I didn't realize they did this. I can't believe they did this. Do you remember Michael Richards? Remember the guy from Seinfeld went ballistic on stage, started saying
Kramer.
The word? Yeah. So I fell asleep the other night to 2006 Raws, and I woke up and JR was like, "There was an incident at a comedy club where a comedian was going crazy, and we're going to show you this high-graphic footage." And it's some guy, I think it was one of the writers, on stage. He gets heckled by a black couple, and he starts screaming it. He starts screaming the N-word. He starts screaming the N-word, and they beep it out, but he's really saying it, right? And then Crime Time comes out and beats him up. They go, "That's you get."
I remember this. I remember this.
I can't believe they put that on the show. He was like,
It was really cheesy. It's like whenever they try to do this thing where like, what's everybody talking about, and let's try to like, what's everybody in the world talking about right now, and then like,
but it was I think it was supposed to be like, yeah, we don't like it when people say the N-word, but it actually made Crime Time look like fuck. I don't know. It was like really bad, and I just can't believe that it's been swept under the rug.
I don't like it when, you know why? Because they do mountains of stupid, offensive shit every year. That's why.
I know. And this was like kind of buried. And even like JR King was laughing. Like, "You can't say that stuff, JR. Comedians want to say what they want. Why don't you come to the ring and see what you can say there?" And then you would have said, imagine if you did that now, you would have had I can see what other comedians would have jumped on. "I'll fight you, JR.
Yeah. Well, so this Andrade and Apollo Crews backstage segment was basically leading to something at the end. And then we had a Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins video package, which I thought was done pretty well.
But it was what it was.
So now here we go with what was supposed to be the second match. We have a three-way: Asuka versus Nia Jax versus Shayna Baszler. Asuka cuts a Japanese promo in the ring. Everyone's standing. Shayna Shayna Baszler's walking to the ring, and as she's coming to the ring, she grabs Asuka by the legs, pulls her out of the ring, and they all start fighting outside
Just
the
basically
ring.
a brawl.
They were advertising this match from the beginning of Raw, so now we're about like an hour in, right? We're like an hour into Raw. They hyped it up during commercial breaks. This ends up not being a match, even though they mentioned during the match that this is no disqualification. That's why Shayna gets to use a ladder. Shayna
And
brings
they
in a
just
ladder.
threw it out. Yeah.
And then they said this match is a no contest. It's not a match. They just Nia Jax. Everybody's back in the ring. Nia Jax uses I think a ladder to push both Asuka and Shayna
Then they should have thrown a ladder on them, and then Stott didn't.
And then Nia Jax's music just starts playing. And I thought, is this match over? And I thought, wait a minute, was this supposed to be like an over the top rope thing? Because I didn't understand why her music was playing. And it just turns out it just said, oh, because the match nobody ever got. Technically, they brawled outside the ring, so this match never happened. This was not a match. This was one of the biggest bullshit things I've ever seen them do. This would have been a great match to watch. This was really stupid.
Yeah, I think the reason they went in this direction is they didn't know who they wanted to lose, because if Nia, all they knew is that they wanted. I'm sure that all they knew was they wanted Asuka to take the pin, but I think they're like, well, we don't want to have Nia look like an idiot while Shayla gets the win, and we want Shayla look like an idiot while Nia gets the win. So I think they were like really confused, you know?
Yeah, well, then don't fucking book something like this then.
I know. Why don't you just book Shayla and Asuka and have her choke out Asuka again?
Yeah, by the way, this was one of the worst Raws that I've seen. So
I didn't think it was a bad Raw. I think certain Raws have been worse, but like
okay, yeah,
this was a bad
worse
Raw.
Raws.
This was a Raw that confirmed a lot of my suspicions the last few weeks. So we'll keep going.
Yeah, this is a Raw where every segment had something wrong with it.
Oh, and it hurt whoever they were trying to push.
Even in the beginning, the first 3-on-3, that opening segment with the MVP's VIP lounge where he wasn't letting anybody speak, that was just like a big waste of fucking time, you know? And this thing was bullshit.
I think I'm getting the sense that people like Becky, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, Edge, AJ Styles basically said, okay, it's not going to be held against us if we don't work during the pandemic. Yep, okay, we're all not coming in. And which is why they're really going in on new guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious.
Yeah.
But
I also think, but here's my other thing. They're not going all the way, because I think as soon as they get the okay to have shows in front of audiences again, they're going to shove Randy Orton and Becky Lynch down our throats, and they're going to have Apollo Crews and Shane Thorne on main event.
They probably will, but I'm not even worried about that. I'm just kind of like, I'm just trying to watch this Raw, and like, it needs to fucking make sense. I get it. If your plan is to be like, well, these are just temporary people that we're gonna use, and when everything gets back to normal, we're gonna bring back the real stars. Fine, fucking do that. Be an idiot. But in the meantime, stop doing these things that don't make no fucking sense.
Because they don't really want people like Apollo Crews and Austin Theory to get over. That's why.
Yeah, then they're fucking idiots. They're just fucking idiots. I gotta move on because this is fucking. This is such an irritating Raw. This was such an irritating Raw.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah. So technical match number 2: Lashley versus Denzel Desjardins.
Who loses again?
Match.
This was fine.
Yeah, it's a squash match. Lashley wins with a spear. I don't like squash matches, but
I think it's set up that Lashley doesn't need Lana, because I guarantee next week he's gonna lose with Lana's out there.
Yeah, this match before this match begins, they do a backstage segment where Lashley tells Lana, hey, I need you to stay back here and not come out. She's like, why not? She's like, oh, because you're just so distracting, because you're so beautiful. I have to look at you all the time. She likes it. She falls for it. And, you know, the fucking commentators play dumb.
By the way, I do think, watch Lashley the last 2 years. Like, go back and watch some stuff they had Lashley do the last 2 years. Roman's going to be the new Lashley when this is over. Because Lashley was the apple of Vince's eyes from 2006 to 2007. I don't know. You remember?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he left. Didn't come back for a while. Now that he's back, it's like, oh yeah, you're still great, but you're not that great, and we're gonna remind everybody that,
Well, hopefully Junior's dead by then.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
See. What do you call it? By the way, Lana's dress looked great. I liked her. I like her outfit.
I hate her voice. I wish we'd just go back to that stupid Russian accent.
I don't like her. Yeah, but her outfit looked good. Then they did a video package of Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. Then they showed a commercial for their video game for this year, Battleground.
Oh, it looks like that looks like an abortion. That's so fun. I don't know how they think they're gonna sell that. The women look like fucking thick midgets.
I'm not into. I don't play video games. So, what is this for? Like,
they haven't announced it. But it looks like a mobile game, but they haven't even announced what system. But it's
okay.
They usually put out a real game but they decided not to.
Yeah,
I would have done it. I would have done it even with all the people that like got fired. I just would have done it.
No, I think it's better they didn't do it. I think it was
they're not doing it, and they're putting this shit out. But this shit looks atrocious. It looks so bad.
It looks like they have like special powers, like the wrestlers have fireballs.
Yeah, it's supposed to like Mortal Kombat, but the character models, they look like shitty, like a shitty cartoon character mobile game. I don't know. It looks like. How do you think? Why would you think?
They look like those miniature, like cartoon character
muscle.
Yeah.
Wrestlers.
What are those little like action figures that come out? They're small. They're like little kid versions of each superhero.
Oh, the pop vinyl.
Not the pop vinyls. They're like really small.
The muscles.
Oh, I guess that's what they're called. Yeah, but that's what they look like to me.
Yeah. It looks terrible. I don't know why they don't even put out a game. I don't know, or put out. There's like an old game called No Mercy that's amazing. Just re-release that with a new roster. I mean, it's just like I don't know. It's just I can't. I fuck. It's another frustrating thing in that fucking video game.
Yeah, so everything about this was so frustrating. So official match number 3, Liv Morgan versus Ruby Riott again. Rematch from last.
But you know what WWE is like? Can I just say? Wait, I'm going to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
WWE is like an aunt who has all this amazing toys in her house and all this amazing stuff in her house. And she goes, I got you something for Christmas that you really, really want, and you think it's going to be a Nintendo or a PlayStation or like a trip to Disney World because she can afford it. And then she shows up with like a fucking rocking horse and you're 15. Look, a rocking horse. You have to pretend you like it. It's like, you fucking idiot. You know there's a million things you could give me that I would like, and you gave me this, which I have no use for. That's WWE with half the shit they always put out.
Yeah. As I've always said about WWE, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Last week I thought was good. This week was just like it basically nullified everything they did last week.
Yes. So now we have Liv Morgan. Now we have Liv Morgan versus.
This is a rematch from last week with the exact same ending. No difference. There was no point in doing this. The only thing I got out of this was that they have a name for Liv Morgan's new finisher.
What's it called?
Which is that flatliner off the ropes, which is called Oblivion, which is fine, but basically does nothing for Ruby Riott. Then right after the match, they have an interview for Liv Morgan, which...
And she looked like she was ready to blow her brains out.
She sounded like an idiot because she just kept going like, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out who I am. I don't know if I'm
ready because I'm going to be ready. Yeah, it was bad.
Like, dude, this is bad. This did nothing for her.
No, it was better leave it was last week. You didn't need to repeat this and have her sounding a moron.
You know what you should have done? Let her beat her jobber tonight.
Yeah, let her beat. You fired her. Let her beat Santana Garrett.
Kaden, they fired Santana Garrett?
No, they fired. I was going to say Deanna Petruzzo. But.
Oh, yeah, but Santana Garrett, Kaden Carter, who got jobbed out to
Idiari, or the fuck her name was from last week.
What the fuck? Why are you giving us the same fucking match 2 weeks in a row? Why do you think your fucking ratings are going down? Because you're giving us the same shit. If I watch it last week, why do I need to watch it again this week?
Oh, she beat Ruby Riott again? Okay. What else do you want me to do with that?
Fucking dumb.
Yeah.
And then they had a Nia Jax backstage segment where
this was atrocious.
She just, you know what? She yells at what Charlie? It was stupid. The only good thing about it was it wasn't that long.
When she yelled at the end, I was like, who fucking left that in? So, people go like Mike Kanellis had an interview. Goes, why would they put us on TV? They're gonna bury us. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no logical way 50 people can be sitting watching this footage and be like, yes, let's use that take. Unless they were trying to fucking bury Liv Morgan and Nia Jax. There's no fucking way.
These are fucking bad. You know what? It's like whoever put this together this week just really didn't care. You
Or
know?
didn't like any of these wrestlers. Like, was like,
Yeah,
fuck
just
them.
didn't really care. Then we had a Viking Raiders promo
Which also stunk.
This was them, a backstage just promo of them talking about the Street Profits, how the Street Profits never beat them. They only got the NXT titles because they weren't there. They only got the WB titles because they didn't have them. It wasn't. I didn't think much about it. They're wearing these stupid fucking helmets. All I could think about is their fucking ride along from last week, and now I'm supposed to take them seriously. Like, I was just like, come on, man.
Yeah, and like the promo went on way too long. They look like idiots with the helmets.
Promo went on way too long, and it sounded like it was rehearsed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they even say the same line together. They were like looking at each other like, "We want the smoke," like in unison. I'm like, come on, guys.
Just say that. You know what? All it had to be was, whatever the fuck, Street Profits. We want the smoke. That's it. You don't have to be like, the other day I had breakfast and went to the mall.
Yeah.
And by the way, I want the smoke. Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
Come on.
So these are three fucking
three promos that made that got the talent less over.
Yeah, 3 promos that got nobody over. Basically, it was terrible. And then we have Akira Tozawa in the ring facing a returning Jinder Mahal, who wins with the Cobra Clutch Slam, which he calls the Colossus.
He wins with ease.
Complete squash. Tozawa got 0 offense. And I hate, this is the point. This was the point where I started saying, where I realized this is a terrible, terrible Raw. And I'll tell you why. Literally last week on Raw, Akira Tozawa faces Andrade in a back and forth match.
That's why I told you it should have been back and forth last week.
And here, he gets completely squashed with 0 offense.
Yeah.
What is this saying about Andrade in the U.S. Championship? What does it say about the Cruiserweight tournament where Akira Tozawa has already got a win?
He's already got a win in the fucking.
He's already got a win. He beat Isaiah Swerve Scott. So this means.
Well, Brian Alvarez, who I don't agree with, had a great tweet. He goes, "Why do they think people are going to watch NXT when on Raw you treat all the stars like jobbers?"
We've been saying this. Yeah. We've been talking about how they've been jobbing on NXT. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think it's stupid.
It's fucking dumb. It makes, when I saw this, I was like, why should I give a fuck about the U.S. title match later on tonight?
Or why should I give a fuck about this Cruiserweight tournament?
Yeah, it was dumb. What did you think? Any other things you want to add about this fucking squash?
I mean, you got to give Jinder. They've treated Jinder like an idiot for a year now, so you've got to give him. Now that he's back, and maybe if you want to give him back, because you have to give him a dominant win. But it didn't have to be with Akira Tozawa. It could have been with somebody else.
It could have been fucking.
Just do anyone who's not in that fucking tournament.
Could have been Tahuti. What happened to Tahuti? Could have used it on him.
Tahuti, or you could use it, or what's his name? Tony Nese. I don't know. Oh, is he in the tournament too? He's in the tournament.
He's in the tournament.
How about
a whole bunch of what about that?
There's a bunch of Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze in the tournament or no?
He's not, but I'm talking about. I'm trying to pick guys who are around. Like if you wanted to pick an NXT jobber, you could have picked that guy who looked like that poor man's Roman Reigns from Friday.
Yeah, just use him again.
Yeah, he's not on NXT anyway. He's just like
Or I don't know. It's just like you're trying to. If I didn't know he was in the tournament, that's even stupider. It's like, all right, but you did have to make Jinder look strong. They gotta. Maybe they're gonna. I mean, you gotta try to do something with him. He is a former champion, so.
I get it that he's a former champion. They did mention that, but this was the wrong way to do it.
Yeah. You know what I would have done? I would have had him like. This is how they could have done it. Don't even give him a fucking match. Have him come and cost Apollo Crews the match.
Yeah, or something
come out
like
of nowhere.
That.
It's like, how did this guy get here?
Yeah, that would have been better.
And he just beats the shit out of Apollo Crews.
That would have been cool too if I just saw him just cost somebody to fucking.
And he's like, "I'm back, motherfucker!"
Yeah, just beat the shit out of everybody. But no, this was stupid as fuck. And then we had an Andrade backstage segment again, where this time Selena Vega's yelling at Charlie because of her interviews. Now they have to defend the U.S. title later tonight. And then Angel Garza pops up at the end and gives her a flower and says, "Hey, we should hang out or something."
I like him. He's got this weird energy. I like.
I'm telling you what, right now, Angel Garza is really shining from this group. He is the one who's sticking out the most. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even on the 3-on-3 match, he like really shined the most. And in these segments, he could speak English and everything. He's coming off really good.
Yes.
Match number 5 is Andrade versus Apollo in a.
This is where the show went off the rails for me.
Go ahead.
First of all, he loses. Apollo Crews, right? He loses.
Mm-hmm.
His foot gets hurt or something.
So this was a long match. It was a back and forth, not a squash. There was a moment where Andrade's outside the ring, and Apollo Crews does a moonsault from the apron, but he lands on his feet because Andrade moves out of the way, and he grabs his knee like he tweaked it. Right? Match continues. He's still using his leg, and then he does another like move from the top rope this time into the ring, and then he lands on his feet again, and then he just grabs his knee like it gave out.
Well, can I ask you a question? If you're theoretically in a real fight, if your knee hurt, like let's say you're fighting someone outside a bar, right, and your knee hurts, why would you be like, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to climb on top of this bar and do 15 flips. You wouldn't do, like, why would you do that? You wouldn't do that.
If you had already fucking tweaked your knee in the middle of the match, why would you fucking do that fucking same thing again?
You would never do that.
No.
You wouldn't if this was a real fight. You wouldn't be, because, you know, there's a million things you could grab a chair, hit him back of the head. I don't know, throw him in the ring post. There's a million things you can do to keep hurting this fucking guy because you want to win the belt because this is your shot. You've been a fucking loser scrub for 4 fucking years. They made us watch you wrestle for 9 hours 2 weeks ago. Yet he had to fight MVP and fight MVP for 17 hours. Then he had another 5-hour match today, and now he's having another 4-hour match with Andrade. And this guy's a fucking idiot. They're making him out to be a fucking idiot.
Yeah, and here's another thing too. I probably wouldn't have been able to recall this for you, but WWE, they're the ones who showed through the replays that he had already tweaked his knee when he did that fucking moonsault in the outside. Yeah. They're the ones who told me this. They're the ones who told me this.
So did Andrade beat him up or did he just leave?
No, and here's the thing too. Andrade wins because Apollo can't continue. And he didn't even win by doing anything heelish. He just won because Apollo Crews is a dumb fuck. That's why he won. Somebody was telling me,
I told you this was going to happen from day one. When they fucking gave this guy a 40-minute match after WrestleMania, they're going to treat this guy like a fucking idiot. And you're like, no. And then he had to struggle with MVP. And I'm like, why is he struggling with MVP? No. This is
so fucking bad, yeah.
And here's the kicker. So he's backstage on crutches, and Charlie Crews goes, "Oh wow, Apollo Crews." Before he was all bragging and all like whatever. You see, and they put the mic, and keeps walking away. Can you imagine?
This segment comes on later. Go ahead.
Imagine in 1997 if Shawn Michaels, when he did the I lost my smile. That was stupid, but he stood there like a man. Instead of like, I'm in so much pain. I don't want to wrestle. Imagine if he did that. People be like, this fucking guy's a loser. Imagine if when Austin retired, was like,
well,
you know what I mean? Why would you have him do that?
Here's the thing. Apollo Crews didn't even say a word. He just cried.
He just cried like a bitch.
Yeah, so after this match, a whole bunch of other stuff happens, and then they show another backstage segment where where he's now on crutches. He's got an ice pack tied up to his knee. And Charlie Crews is like, oh, Apollo Crews, Money in the Bank's like 2 weeks away. What are you going to do? Is this a major injury? You were on such a roll. And then he just starts crying like, this.
But that's my thing. That's why I got so annoyed during that Andrade match. I'm sorry, the Aleister Black match from 3 weeks ago. Because I know you're wasting my time with this guy.
Yes.
You're just going to waste my fucking time because you're not going to commit to this fucking guy. Why would you have him do that? I was
talking with somebody on Messenger who was watching the same show as I was, and they were telling me how great this segment was. And I was telling them how this match was. I was telling them the reason why this was just a dumb match. They were building up to this championship match from the beginning of this show.
Yeah.
Right? They're telling us that hey, now they're gonna fight for Apollo Crews already pinned him in the first match. Now he's getting a U.S. title shot, trying to get you to stay for the whole entire show, right? To watch from all 3 hours. And they're building up a championship match. They build up through another segments in the middle of the show, and they end this match in bullshit. Your reward is a bullshit ending, and you're watching a guy who's supposed to be the good guy look like a total bitch.
Yeah, and
Why
it's
would
like,
I want to watch this show again?
and then someone in the company argued, well, we can't have Andrade lose. He's been losing so often. And I'm like, then why book yourself? Why book yourself in a corner like this? Why would you do that?
Especially if they already fought in the beginning of the show.
Just leave it alone. How about that? You don't do the segment backstage where you don't have this match, because you book yourself in a corner to make one of these guys look fucking stupid. Like have Triple H come out, and I don't know if literally Triple H could have came out and said Corona's fake, it's not real, and that would have been a better, use of time than what they did with this fucking match. It was like there was no point in booking these guys into this corner. There's no point. Have the War Raiders, or what the fuck they're calling these idiots, the Viking Raiders, come out and squash 2 other guys you're trying to get over.
Yeah.
Have Drake Maverick come out and get beat up by Jinder Mahal.
And if you wanted a match where it took up as much time as this match took up, you could have had a competitive match with some of the wrestlers who were still on the show who were still there that you did not even use.
Yeah, because I know you use some of these guys. What about maybe the Street Profits? Maybe you could have done a one-on-one. One of the Street Profits versus one of the Viking Raiders, and have the Viking Raider beat him in the one-on-one to be like, what's going to happen next week? Why would you do this shit?
You know what I would have done? I would have had maybe somebody get squashed by Jinder Mahal, and I would have had Tozawa maybe fight MVP and have MVP.
I would have had Jerry Lawler come out and tell everybody they should vote for Trump. I mean, anything.
I can't believe there are people who actually thought this was good. This was so fucking
atrocious. And I know.
Yeah.
I know that this guy is going to get this weird push that's not going to get him over. They're going to blame him. And I guarantee you, when the crowds come back, this fucking moron Apollo Crews is going to be back on main event, or he's going to be remember he was getting beat up with Shorty G by Sheamus 2-on-1 just 2 months ago.
So
he's going to be back to that shit. This is what annoys me. It's like, I'm wasting 3 hours. You're telling me you're trying to get these guys over. You're not getting anyone over.
No, nobody got over in this show.
And then you're just going to fire these retards 12 years from now, like Zack Ryder.
Stupid, yeah.
Right.
So at least we both fucking hated this show.
It was fucking, I was like,
yeah.
You gotta be, I knew, but the moment he goes like, why would you do that? You've made this guy, imagine if Hulk Hogan went up to Iron Sheik. I'm going to beat your ass, brother. And then Hulk Hogan fucking hurts his legs being stupid. And then in the back, they got Mean Gene. Hulk Hogan, man, he's supposed to run wild tonight. What happened? They would be out of business. AWA would be the biggest company in the world right now.
Do you realize we've had basically a complaint on almost every single segment they've had this entire show? This is why I said this is one of the worst Raws I've ever seen. It was like
I have complaints a lot of Raws. This is like,
oh man, it's awful.
Keep
and then
going.
We have a Street Profits backstage promo, which I thought was very good. It was a response.
They're always
to what
good
the
at
Viking,
promos.
Yeah, it was a response to what the Viking Raiders said. They were serious and it was short. And now they're gonna have a match next week.
You know what? They're gonna lose and stuff. I guarantee you, if they ever get single push to one of them, they're gonna lose to Andrade and start crying in the back. They always make like Ray DeVito was watching. He was watching the Apollo Crews match. And he goes like, "I know wrestling's fake because the black guy always gets his ass kicked." He's like, the black guy would just beat the shit out of everyone in his building, but he's always like looking like he always looks like a fucking doofus. The black guy, like it's always like
I'll tell you right now. The Street Profits and the Viking Raiders are gonna fight for the tag team titles next week. Don't watch it because what's gonna happen is Montez Ford is gonna he's gonna tweak his knee and they're gonna have to stop the match. That's gonna happen.
Bianca Belair's gonna start crying too.
Don't watch Raw next week. Just listen to. We will save yourself some time. Listen to our review. You'll save 2 hours. Okay.
3 hours.
It's pointless. Then they have a Becky Lynch video package.
So I guess she's not gonna die of corona.
Yeah, they did a video package hyping her up. Then I don't understand why she's not on the show then.
I think she's just like, I'm not going in because of this shit. I think she was like,
oh, okay.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking she just I think she probably is putting her foot down. but not like Roman Reigns is. I mean, like, take a few weeks off. They don't really need her for this next pay-per-view.
Yeah, she's just taking a few weeks off, is what you're
Well,
thinking.
they didn't mention her at all last week. I don't know. Maybe something weird's going on. I don't know. I still think something weird's going on with her.
I think it was very weird that they didn't mention her at all last week, and then they have a video package, like a long video package this week.
Also, Kevin Owens hasn't been on Raw since WrestleMania, and they gave him that big win, and now it's like that match, that feud didn't even happen because Seth Rollins is in the main event. But anyway.
Who else is? They did mention Roman Reigns tonight. They had him in some kind of video package.
I think it was a Triple H thing.
No, they had him in a different video package.
They always have him in the merchandise package. That doesn't count.
Oh, okay. I guess you're right. That doesn't count then.
Yeah.
All right. And then the match number 6, sixth and last match, Cedric Alexander and Ricochet versus Everrise, which is Matt Martel and Chase Parker. Matt Martel has no relations to Rick Martel, but they are French Canadian. And this was a competitive squash. These jobbers got in more offense than Tozawa did.
Because they don't like Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. That's why.
Yeah. Cedric and Ricochet wins by.
Because the worst part of this, MVP shows up on the screen.
Yes. So
I'm thinking MVP is going to be their manager. Or MVP is going to bring in someone we don't know about, maybe. And he goes like, bloop, 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 doing this fucking corny. MVP is like a corny guy who thinks he's cool, by the way. And then he brings out Shane Thorne and this other, what's the other guy's name? I can't remember.
Brendan Vink.
So, like, now these two jobbers are supposed to be something. Like, they literally couldn't win for 3. He's like, this is your big idea, MVP? These two guys that never win? I'm gonna manage them.
Yeah, so if those of you guys who did not watch Raw, basically Cedric and Ricochet win because they do a new finisher, which is Ricochet jumps off the top rope, drop kicks the guy Cedric puts into a flatliner. They win, and as soon as the match is over, MVP is on the Titantron, and he's like, I really thought he was going to say, like, I'm going to endorse you two.
Yeah.
And then instead he shows Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne, who has lost on like 3 or 4 consecutive Raws. Yeah. Like squashes.
And it's supposed to be like, oh, wow. And I'm sure half the audience was like, who?
I mean, good for Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink, but this made no fucking sense.
I mean, but it's like WWE now, like they're not even giving people any type of introduction. It's just like they just lose, and then all of a sudden now you gotta take them seriously. It's like, wait, what? Yeah. I just get the sense that like a lot of wrestlers are being like, we're not coming in, we're not coming back.
It's so bad and nonsensical that it's funny. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like it's so.
It was never like this. It really does feel like it was. You could really tell that they're trying to get guys over they don't want to get over, but they have no choice. Like I really think Vince McMahon. This is kind of what happened in '92 when Ultimate Warrior, Hogan, he wanted Savage to take a lesser role, but he decided I have no choice. I'm going to push Brett and Shawn Michaels and stuff, but he was a little bit more excited about it back then. This you could tell he's like, I'm going to get these guys over because like I don't, a lot of guys are staying home because of Corona, so I want these guys to be my guys. But you can tell like, he has no faith in anyone. He's looking at his playlist, his playbook. Like these are the guys we have. Okay,
Do you think Junior's doing this or it's Paul Heyman?
I think Junior and Paul Heyman. I think Junior. I think Vince is like, I've got to get some of these guys over just in case Randy Orton, Kevin Owens don't come back, and AJ.
I don't think Junior knows how to get people over.
Well, no, not these guys. Like. I almost like I'll give Russo this. Russo got over a bunch of guys that had no business getting over in 1998 because he accented their positives and not their flaws.
Example.
Godfather.
Yeah.
The New Age Outlaws are fucking terrible. They have horrible matches. Go back and watch those.
I can't recall any classics. Yeah. I can't recall.
New Age Outlaws. Val Venus.
Yeah, the Attitude Era, I guess. But was that all Russo?
You think Vince saw that roster and was like, "Oh yeah," Vince was probably like sweating bullets with half that roster.
I don't think. I think it was a talent. I think the talent came up with all those ideas.
I know, but some of that talent had no talent. I mean, we're talking about the Godwins and Jeff Jarrett.
No, but we're talking about like the guys who got over, like Godfather and the New Age Outlaws.
I know, but the Godfather never got over.
Yeah, but those guys got. I think you're saying like you're crediting Vince Russo to getting those guys over.
I think Vince Russo. I think if Russo was in this position right now with Vince McMahon, he could find unorthodox ways to get Apollo Crews and Austin Theory over. That I don't think Paul Heyman. But as together, I'm not saying Vince Russo alone.
You have a lot of faith in that scumbag. I mean,
he did it in '98. Everyone had a story during the Attitude Era. Say what you will.
90. So you know what it's like. We both like comic books, right?
Yeah.
Chris Claremont was great for the X-Men.
Well, Chris Claremont's another guy. Every character in his comic book has a story, even if it's just in the back burner.
Well, my point was this: there was a time where he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I'm not saying now.
That ain't it anymore.
I'm saying the old Vince Russo would have had everybody have like a story going on and stuff.
Well, I don't. I mean, I think Vince Russo and
No, what Vince Russo now is a piece of shit.
Kiss my ass. I don't
Vince Russo's a piece of caca, but I'm just saying back then.
Both of those guys ruined the name Vince for me, by the way.
I think if they had just stuck together, they would have been fine together. I think once they broke apart, I think that they developed a lot of bad habits while creating good TV, and those bad habits ruined the next 20 years of their input. Both Russo and McMahon. Yeah.
So after this, we had that shitty Apollo Crews backstage segment, and then after this, what ended the show was contract signing for Money in the Bank with Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. Jerry the King Lawler is actually there.
They fly this. I think Vince is trying to kill Jerry Lawler.
Probably.
Why would you fly this 70-year-old man just to do this?
Yeah. So Seth Rollins is wearing a suit. He's sitting there first, and then Drew McIntyre comes in. Seth does his like promo about like how you're gonna be a great champion one day, but I'm the leader and all this. And then it's standard Seth Rollins shoot me in the head promo, and then yeah, and then Drew McIntyre gets in the mic, and he goes, Seth, nobody wants to hear you talk. Nobody at home, nobody backstage. Mm-hmm. You have this unbelievable talent of every time you open your mouth, your foot gets stuck in there. Right?
That was good.
Shits. Yeah, it was great. He just shit all over Seth Rollins. Remember, last week, Seth Rollins, it was last week, right? Where he attacked Drew McIntyre. So Drew needs to get some payback, but he's taking it all like nonchalant, being Mr. Cool. And you're like, come on, man, kick his fucking ass. He signs his contract, and as soon as Seth signs his contract, he says like 2 words, and then Drew grabs Seth's head and then smashes it onto the table, beats the shit out of him, throws the fucking table out the ring. Looks like he's about to Claymore Seth Rollins in the face. Murphy. Fucking fuck it. Buddy Murphy comes in, fucking attacks Drew McIntyre. Then him and Seth Rollins hug, and then Seth like dodges a Claymore kick, which Murphy takes in the face. Seth he's like walking to the back, like, I'm gonna fucking get you. And Drew McIntyre's like, I'm waiting, man. We got to fucking sign the contract. Great. This was the only good segment on this terrible 3-hour Raw.
It was all right. You know what would have made better if Seth Rollins died before he came out to the ring. I'm so over this fucking guy. I'm so over him. And
I like his character now because his character is like, oh, I can't.
Yeah. I mean, less talking with him, the better. I think he's a guy they should be having wrestle for 40 minutes, not fucking Austin Theory every fucking week.
They should let him talk less, 100%. But I like this segment because he looked shitty.
He's a heel. He's a heel.
Yeah.
I like the fact they got him back with Buddy Murphy. It was fine. But overall, not a good Raw. Not a good way to spend 3 hours.
No. I started reading a comic book during the fucking show. It was so fucking bad.
I lied down to my cat. My cat likes to shove his ass in my face, and I didn't even move it. So I don't even need to see this fucking show.
This show fucking sucked, man. it makes me like, you know how bad this show is? I will endorse people not watching the show next week.
You know,
That's how much I hate the fucking show.
When this lockdown started, I got excited for Raw and SmackDown. I was like, oh, what's going to happen? And now it's just like, you know what? This is the same shit they would have done with a crowd. Except there's no crowd. Like, you know, it's like they're not doing, I thought they would get like a little kooky.
Yeah.
And instead they're just like not putting any effort in. And it's like, God, I don't know it's interesting. After a few weeks, it was interesting to see the Florida declare them essential workers, the fans not give a shit about their health. But now they're like, I don't know. It's just, we're kind of like, this is the situation. It just, there's no reason to tune in. There's no reason for a regular person to tune in. Like, you basically,
Nothing important happened. Nothing important.
You know what you can tell? You can tell that the moment he gets the okay to go have live crowds again, it's going to be like this era never happened.
Yeah.
Everything happening here is never going to be referenced again.
Yeah.
I guarantee you this WrestleMania will never be any highlight packages, will never be any videos, nothing.
I don't know. The Boneyard will probably do fucking.
Well, Boneyard and Drew winning the belt, but that's it.
Yeah. So since we started doing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first Raw we did was the worst one that I was like, oh man, I was like, I can't believe it fucking made me sit through this 3 hours, bro. This one was worse than that one. Since we've been doing this was the worst Raw. Since we started doing this was the worst one.
But you know what? We're going to keep going because we got nothing else to do.
We're doing this for you guys, the fans.
For somebody.
Yeah. Like, this was such a fucking waste. I'm going to go fucking punch somebody. I have to.
Right. Hey, social distance, though.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow, Dark Side of the Ring. Who is
Impact
tomorrow?
Rebellion Part 2.
Yeah, Rebellion Part 2. Rebellion Part 1 was all right. That was all right.
And then AEW, because they can do no wrong. Dude, Dave Meltzer. Nope. It's so funny how none of these wrestling guys who almost like fucking had a heart attack with WWE was having shows again in Florida. None of these guys like batted an eye, but AEW did it. There's just such a favoritism to AEW from these wrestling nerds.
You know what they'll say, right? When you bring it up, they'll be like, yeah, but because WWE did it first. I'm like, yeah, you should be like, 2 wrongs don't make a fucking right, bro. Yeah, 2 wrongs don't fucking make it right.
But you know what? Look, if Cody wants to see his dad sooner than later, that's fine by me. No, but it's like, I don't know why I care about anyone, because it's like people are like, well, I'm just gonna go out and this isn't real, and I'm like, oh no, it's real. No, it's not. Okay, it's not real. It's not real. Don't wear masks. Don't cough on each other. But here's my thing. If you don't think it's real, when you get sick, don't go to the hospital. Just die in your fucking house.
Oh, man.
And that goes for all the wrestlers who want to wrestle. Just fucking go die.
By the way, some people will say, yeah, but they're doing it for us, for our entertainment. It's like, no, not really. They're not. First
if
off,
you put on 3 hours of ECW, I would have watched it, probably got more entertained.
We're not asking you guys to do this, by the way.
No.
We're not asking fucking Tony Khan. We're not asking Vince McMahon for this. No, you guys, they need it. No, we don't fucking need it.
No one needs
we don't fucking need it.
Dude, the highlight of my week last week was 205 Live with Bret Hart, Steve Austin. That was from 96.
This is, you got, when you're doing this, you are putting your employees, because at the end of the day, that's what this is. This is a business, and they're your employees. You could act like these guys, Khan and fucking Junior, are basically like all these fucking commercials we see every Raw.
Mm-hmm.
They're a fucking corporation that tries to deceive you and act like they care about you. They really don't. They don't care about their employees. They don't care about anybody. They just care about money. And fucking just try to make sure that their product stays fresh so they can make money once this is over. That's what they really fucking care about. Nobody asked for this. And when you're doing this, you're putting your own employees at risk, and that's your fucking fault.
And,
if anybody dies, that's how that blood is on their hand.
People say like, oh, people have the right to work. They have the right to work. Yeah, you do. You have the right to work as a cop. You have the right to work as a farmer. You have the right to work as a blacksmith. All these fucking essential jobs. You don't have a right to dress up in a lucha libre mask, get half naked, and roll around with Austin Theory. That is not your right. That's not a right to work that job. It's not a right for us to stand up. That's not a right.
I think 205 Live and 205 I should say now, and UK are the ones doing it right, which is what we talked about very early on. Mm-hmm. What they should do is fucking have each wrestler Skype in and have them fucking feature the matches that they want to feature. You have a fucking huge library.
Because the ratings are going in the toilets anyway, but
Yeah.
All you're doing,
twice anyway.
but all you're doing by putting this shitty 3-hour show on is getting people to be like, why am I watching this?
Yeah.
Why am I watching this? Like.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew Lee, that's it. We will be back Friday with the SmackDown report. I'll be back
Hopefully
tomorrow.
a better show. Hopefully a better show than this.
I'm going to be interviewing Melissa Diaz, all about comedy and COVID and the lockdown.
Nice.
Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We will see you tomorrow.